In order to keep bringing you guys tons of free content, we work with brand partners who you'll hear from in this episode, including an advertisement from Zopa Bank. Welcome back to the Talk Twenties podcast. Today, we're joined in the studio by hilarious TikToker Charley Marlowe. If you've seen Charley on your For You page recently, you'll know she's a Scouser living in Manchester who shares funny skits and rants about her life. In this episode of the podcast, we chat about the highs and lows of life in your 20s. As ever, please make sure you follow or subscribe to the podcast. The team work tirelessly to bring you entertaining and inspiring episodes, but we really cannot do it without the support of you guys at home. So if you can leave us a review as well, that would mean the world to us. On with the show. So hello, Charley. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
It's exciting to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
We're in Liverpool and you're a Scouser? Would you say you're a Scouser?
I'm a Scouse girl. Yeah, no, people say that you're a wool, you're this and you're that, and I don't listen to it because I've lived in Manchester since 2018 when I went to Salford Uni. But yeah, no, I am. When I go home, we were saying the accent. I put it off now. I put my silly voice on, but the Scouse does come out.
So you grew up around here, but like you said something. Your dad was in the army, so you moved around quite a bit. So you have grown up in Liverpool, but not for like your full life.
Yeah. So all my family are Scousers, but I lived in McGull for 7 years, and then they moved to. They said they were like, "Oh, we're going to Costco." And then they were 3 hours, and I was like, where's my mum and dad gone? And then they were like, we've bought a house in Orrell Park. And I was like, right. And then we just came home and lived there for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I'd gone to uni by that point, so I was like, right.
So what's it like living in Manchester now? What do you think the differences are between two cities, like, first of all?
The people. We're so similar, but so different.
Yeah.
I can't explain. Like I come here and it's a different type of people, but we're also the same, like same values, same kind of opinions.
A lot of people like tarnish the North as like the same thing. They just think the North, but they don't really realise that there's actually quite a lot of differences and like stuff between the different cities.
Yeah. Oh God.
And also it's pain on the train, isn't it?
I hate it. I hate the fucking. I swear.
Yeah.
I hate the fucking train. I'm sick of it. A train. I'm like, oh, it's just delay.
Yeah. It's a nightmare. Like, it's actually, what we were saying earlier, it's actually sometimes easier to get from Liverpool to London because it's literally a direct train. It goes like every hour, like you know what's going on. Yeah. And then Manchester, like you'd think it would take like 20 minutes to get there and it's like an hour and 15.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks,
ridiculous.
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah.
Dick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you're 23 now. Or are you 24? You 23, you just had your birthday?
23, just had my birthday.
23, just had your birthday. So 3 years of your 20s, how has it been so far?
I've loved it.
Yeah?
I love my 20s. I think like I've grown up so much in 3 years and you're like, I think you're developing constantly. And even I look at like even a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old and I think we're so close in age and you'd think you were the same, but I just think in terms of learning and experiences, you're not.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's just something new like all the time.
Yeah. Well, you've had quite the journey because what age were you when you started like getting on TikTok?
Like 21.
So quite a lot of your 20s, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's been...
Tell us a little bit more about your journey then for people who might not know as much as I know about you. Oh. Well, it sounds like I'm a proper stalker now.
What do you know about me?
Tell everyone like what it is you do on TikTok and stuff, and tell us about your journey.
You know what? I struggle to answer this question. I don't bloody know. I say I tell funny stories.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, if I get stuck on the train, I'll be like, oh fucking hell, I got stuck on the train. Like, do you know what I mean? Like one of them. I don't know. Well, I started when I was halfway through uni in lockdown, but I didn't properly get on the hype. You know, I wish I'd really ridden that train. There was no delays on that train, I'll tell you that. But so I was working at Asda about like 3 years throughout uni.
Yeah.
Oh, that gave me a bit of grit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of sun to my personality. That was hell.
What was it like working at Asda?
Oh, it was horrible because I think you had that thing where like I wanted to stay in Manchester, so then you finish uni and you're like, well, fucking hell, I need money. I need a flat to live. So then I was like, you go from student having a part-time job to like working full-time at Asda, and I was like, I'm not going to lie to you, this is shit. And I was on the bakery shift, so I'd be working 6 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Oh my God.
I know, and like I'd come in every day and there was a woman called Sue and she'd go, all right, Charley. And I'd be like, I can't fucking stand you, Sue. And I hate it. And I was like applying for because I wanted to get into TV.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know every department in TV. I didn't want to do it, but I just knew that I wanted to be in that industry. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to get into it. I was applying. I think I applied for a unit runner, which is just kind of like an entry-level role on a BBC children's show. And they put you through, that should be illegal.
Yeah.
The like kind of barriers you've got to...
Do you know what's funny? I used to apply for... When I left my teaching job, I also tried to get into TV and couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible.
The BBC take the piss. And they don't put the salary on the website, which should be very illegal. Yeah. So I keep looking at the camera directly like it's like Truman shit. I'm like, I'm looking at you, viewer. But yeah, that should be illegal, not putting the salary on for the job description. And there's just so many different rounds.
I know. And I think I got through one stage, and I think there were about 3 or 4 or 5. Like,
oh yeah, I got to the final round.
Oh, that's really good.
I know, and like I was, mate, I know,
you did really well.
I know. And I got to the final round, and it came to the interview, and I think it like I even put lashes on. I was like, oh, bless her, bless
waste of lashes as well.
And then found out I didn't get it, and I literally sat at the kitchen table and just went and just sobbed. And I was like, "This is my life. I've got to keep working."
But you did do a bit of TV, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Eventually, I got into it. I kind of cheated. Well, no, I applied because it's just constant applying on Facebook or people who know. So that's how it is. It's not what you know; it's who you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And did you start off knowing anyone? Like, how did you like? No, or did you kind of find your own connections and your way in?
I kind of. So I'd done a bit of stand-in work on like The Circle, but I applied to be a runner on the Naked Attraction.
Yeah.
Got onto that for a week. Oh, I loved it. Anna Richardson, I was like, hey. There's a lot of willies, there's no fannies.
No?
No, not nice.
That's not your cup of tea then.
Not for me. And but I kind of cheated, so I did that for a week, but my old lecturer called me up because she was friends with a production manager who was just about to start shooting, I think Lady Chatterley's Lover, like the remake on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. That's not come out too long ago.
So she was like, do you want to come be a COVID marshal? Because obviously COVID was massive in like the TV and film. So I was literally just a person to be like, can you put your mask on? But I think I was making about, because I didn't want to go full time at Asda, because I was like, my mental health will like massively deplete if I carry on. So I think I was doing maybe 3-4 days a week. So I was making maybe 850 a month, and my rent was 510.
Oh my god!
So I had fuck all money. I was on my ass, and she went, "Yeah, do you want to come be a COVID marshal on this job at $650 a week?" And I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Literally, this was before the cost of living. Fucking no cost of living in sight, and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So I drove down that night from Dock 10 in Salford to Chester.
Okay, and then you did that. And how long was that? Lady Chatterley's Lover? That was
9 weeks. I worked in TV for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And
would you go back into it?
No, I thought that.
Why not?
Oh, I hate it. My last job, so I stayed in production. So I was like COVID marshal, then I'd be production assistant, where you basically just like being a runner. But because it was I would always work in scripted, so it was like big money, big budget, people get more serious, there's more to lose. It's just not banter. It's a BBC drama.
High stakes.
They know that their TV tax has got, what is it, TV money? I've just paid it. What's it called?
TV license. Thanks, Jacob.
Their TV license has gone into that. You know, I'd be like, oh, come on. I was going to be about the fucking script writing here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, so some of the stuff that I love seeing you talk about on TikTok is all your funny like dating stories.
Yeah.
And you know, all the people that you've bumped into and dated in the past. So you did a video this week.
I did one the other day. That was good timing.
But you did one the other week of like someone who's literally been walking along the street with their boyfriend and literally just turn around and pretend that they didn't know you.
Yeah, it was only on, when did I do it? On Tuesday. And me and friend Abby were just walking down the street, and then I've seen her face for a second.
Yeah.
And then she just turned to face the wall, and she did that thing, you know, when someone goes, like to the person they're with, they're like, turn around.
Do you think was this before or after your TikTok that you went on a date with her?
It was kind of in the start of it.
Okay.
But she messaged me at the start of the year being like, oh, I'd love to have, bearing in mind, I'm not seeing her for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was like 19, 20, I think she was the first girl that I ever like courted. Old-fashioned word. And I was like, she was like, oh yeah, I'd love to go for a coffee, whatever, like see you again. And I was like, you know what, I'm all right for it.
Yeah.
Like, and I think...
Or maybe that's why she felt a bit awkward then.
I thought, well, as you should. You've missed out on, you know, a beautiful woman who's got a lot going for her. Fuck
exactly.
Yeah.
But have you got any other like funny dating stories, crazy things that have happened in your...
I was actually... I'm trying to think, have I? It was a date that I went on with her in lockdown. I think this was our first date. Oh. We were like, where should we go? Because it's like, we can't do anything. So we went to Sefton Park, And I realised quickly, like, I needed to, because we bought like 2 tinnies because we were both driving. I don't know if that's legal. There was actually 3, I lied. Was I over the limit?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and I thought, obviously, I brought 3 tinnies here, I've drank them, I need to go for a wee, so I had to go in the bush. And then I came back from the wee and just started massaging her shoulders. And I was like, why have I done that?
For what reason?
I don't know. And I'd not even washed my hands.
I was going to say, did you have any anti-back in between?
No, there was no anti-back. And I was like, oh, why have you done that? No, I didn't know. It was a bit silly.
Oh gosh, is that what you typically do on a date? Like massage people's shoulders?
Or go for a wee in a bush.
No, I meant the massage shoulders, not the wee in a bush.
There's a lot of things I'm into that I don't speak about publicly. No, I'm trying to think of. I don't really go on dates. I've got a girlfriend now, which I don't really speak about. It's bad for the image.
Do you know? Have you not announced it on TikTok? Because I didn't. No.
I did. I put a picture on for my birthday. She took me away for my birthday, and I did. It was obviously a picture of me, and then on the second slide, it was one of us together. Yeah. And obviously, people are commenting because you don't know everyone who's following. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know anyone who's following me on TikTok and Instagram. And people were commenting like, "Oh, hard launch," and I was like, "Shut up!"
Oh, hard launch, yeah.
I was like, I'm not 12. Like, shut up. And it just obviously it was people I didn't even know. I was like, "Oh, piss off."
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So I got so angry.
Is she not? She's not going to make it to TikTok apart from that. Then she's not.
Oh no, actually, she did. She helped me film the video, and it did. I think it got over 1 million views. And she was like, "That was because of me." And I got her to be like, "Excuse me, are you Charley Marlowe?" And she was like, "Yeah."
Oh well, everyone can go look for that then.
I know.
Is she into TikTok at all? Like, does she have like? I was going to say a normal job, but like TikTok now is a normal job for some people.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah. 'Cause I was saying this to someone else the other day. I was like, it's so like more readily accepted. Yeah. Like if you just say, what do you do? And you're like, oh, social media and TikTok, people are like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think there's been a real shift, like especially since the pandemic, of like that being a job nowadays. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people come on the podcast and they seem like, oh, like, just do content creation. And it feels like, you know what I mean? And it's just, I'm a content creator. And it's like, that is a legitimate job nowadays. Yeah. Like that's the world that we're moving into. Like it's completely normal. But like for you, how's your life changed? Because obviously when you're working in Asda, trying to get into TV, and then now full-time content creator. Like what's that been like for you?
Oh, it's been like literally it's amazing. Because like at uni, I was doing like presenting modules and stuff like that, and we were getting taught such like, if you think this was only in like 2020, like 2019, we were getting taught such kind of an ancient way of trying to be a presenter, and it was like we'd do like a news cast. Do your best news. I actually can do quite a good one.
Really?
Like, yeah. Hello and welcome to ITV News. 7 people dead and 14 injured. What some are calling the worst attack on a seaside town ever. I lost it towards the end. I lost it. Thank you guys.
Very, very good. Yeah. Very good. But yeah, you learnt all the old ancient ways of doing TV.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, oh, how to be a presenter. It was like, really, like if you think without social media, how would you be a presenter?
Well,
exactly. I'm gonna fucking claim. Like, I was stumped, quite frankly. So obviously, like social media and like me saying like I want to be a presenter, doing like keep like presenting bits. Like brands really picked up on that, and then now I'm getting booked for presenting jobs, and it's like this is mad. Like, and it was it's just weird. Like my last TV job was really, really like anxiety inducing because I'd been promoted to like travel and accommodation coordinator. Or not coordinator, travel and accommodation secretary.
Oh, it sounds posh anyway.
It was basically production secretary, but I was doing like all travel and accommodation.
Yeah, which is quite stressful because traveling yourself and trying to get times like good, but then organising travel for like however many people, very stressful.
So we had loads of essays like supporting artists, but say they had like, you can only say 5 lines to be an essay. They all had 10 lines, so they had to be considered as cast. So then we had 100 cast members that then there was about 30 people in each week that then you would like that on train line, and people would just be like, it'd be maybe like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and they'd be like, just arrived, kiss, kiss, which is lovely. Yeah. I don't care. I'm 2 bottles of wine deep and I'm trying to watch fucking Taggart. Like, is that a programme? Taggart?
I don't know.
Don't know. It just flowed off the tongue.
Flog it. Is that what you
Flog
mean?
it.
Is it Flog it? Because I wouldn't expect you to watch that. That's the only thing I can think of.
What did I used to watch? Don't know.
Don't know.
New show. Edit that out. New show. That was a bad joke. I know, yeah. But yeah, so it was really like, I just felt like my phone had to be on, and there's a really good Instagram called Runner Huns. and it's like kind of takes the piss out of the industry.
Yeah.
But I think people were kind of giving in their like little just saying how they felt about the industry. And there was someone who was in a similar job to me, and they were like, the anxiety is just, because I'm not an anxious person, but it was just having your phone on and having to be on it 24/7. I just was crying all the time, and like your diet is awful. I put so much weight on, and you just feel like a sack of spud, like I felt shit.
Yeah, because it's super stressful, like all that kind of responsibility and stuff. Yeah. And I think that kind of really kicks in your 20s, because you start to get given, like we were saying earlier, like big girl jobs or big boy jobs.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like I was just happy being a kid in school. Like, please, literally. It's too stressful.
There's been a normalisation of like, oh, big girl jobs or like girl boss and whatever. And I'm like, that's great, because I think 10 years ago, so I'm only 23.
Yeah.
People were in Geordie Shore until like the age of 28, like going out, getting pissed every night. And that was so normal and accepted. Whereas if I was to do that now, I'd be like, can I get your life together?
Yeah.
Which is, it's so good, because I think we're a lot healthier as a generation, like me sat here like, but we're a lot healthier as a generation. Like we kind of, I think we're aspiring to more. I think we've got more, things that are more readily available to us, and we can, we're pushed. It's like, oh, if you want to do better for yourself, that's amazing. So like that part is great. But I think there's people who are just literally like, I was working my arse off 22, but not in a good way. Like I was thinking, this isn't really benefiting me. Like this is kind of being a bit detrimental, if I'm honest, like to myself. So I feel like there's two sides.
I think that's the thing that we always like talk about in the podcast is like, obviously we talk about finance, career, and like your well-being and stuff, but then the fourth like pillar of what we talk about is like fun and like enjoying your life, because like you're only in your 20s once, and like stressing about all those other three things like and spending like 100% of your energy on that like is not a good thing. Like you should just be able to like relax a little bit and enjoy life, because you've also just been in school like non-stop from like however old, 4 earlier if you're in nursery, all the way through to 18. Then if you go to university as well, and it just feels like never ending. And like I really like think that going traveling or taking some time off and not putting too much pressure on your career is like a good thing. So I was quite lucky that in like the pandemic hit when I was like 24, and I kind of felt that was like a nice pause. Like I was still working, but I got like put on furlough and stuff, and then I started doing this for fun and all that kind of stuff. And I really feel like that was like a really nice pause. If the pandemic wouldn't have happened, I think I'd have just been like blinkers on, career way too much. And I think I'm really glad that I took that like step out, because it gets too much.
Where are you storing your savings right now? Just a quick one from our sponsor, Zopa Bank, home of the Smart Saver account. Zopa Smart Saver lets you save in different pots at different interest rates, depending on the notice period you choose to access your savings. The bigger the notice period on your pots, the bigger the interest rate. To find out more about the Zopa Smart Saver, download the Zopa app. We need to tell you that boosted interest pots are subject to a notice period, the longest of which is 95 days for the highest interest rate. You need to save a minimum of £1, and the interest is paid monthly and is subject to variation.
It does. And I think like even like I love like my life, my job so much more now.
Yeah.
But it does come like different industries, different problems. Like I compare myself a lot more now to then when I worked in TV. Like I'm thinking like, oh fucking hell, like my videos aren't going through a bit of a dry spell here, or they're going to this event, like why am I not going to this, or like they've been booked for that job, like why didn't I get booked for that? Do you know what I mean? It's still, but you've just got to remember to have fun.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just think, oh, bollocks to it.
Yeah.
Couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, you can't overthink it too much. And I think when you mentioned there, like comparison it's so relatable for so many people.
It's the root of all evil.
Because when we just see everyone's life like online all the time, it sets this kind of expectation that even if you're doing an absolutely perfect job, there's always going to be someone out there that's doing something bigger, better, different, or whatever, that you can ultimately, you could just go on forever. I don't think like even the biggest people online, I think they're always comparing themselves to something. So I think it's better to just try not to.
And also you don't know everything. Like I go to like, I've been on to like a few events recently and seen some of my friends who are like, like big time, like TikTokers, influencers or whatever. And like they've bought a house, or they've got a partner, or like they've put an offer in somewhere, or they've got an animal, or like they've got an animal.
They've got an animal.
But and I was like, oh God, I didn't even know. They were like, well, I've like not putting it, like didn't put it anywhere. And you're like, oh yeah, fair play. And there's so much that you obviously don't see. Like that's such a massive thing, like buying a house. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, I didn't have any idea.
I have seen some TikTokers get a lot of hate for saying that they bought their first house though, because obviously people have a perception that like, obviously we said earlier, it is getting more like accepted as a real job, but there's still some people out there who goes, can't believe that
TikTok and your career on TikTok would be able to buy you a house. And there's been a bit of controversy there. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think in this, I think as well, like with the cost of living and everything like that, people are seeing what is now, buying a house shouldn't be unachievable. Buying a house should be a normal kind of, not even a life goal. Like it should be a step in, like obviously it's an amazing thing to do, but it shouldn't be like, fucking hell, you've bought a house, wow. Like, it's disgusting, like house price in itself. And that's not, like Max Belegdi did like an amazing video about it. We shouldn't be going in on each other. It is, quite frankly, it's the government and it's things that are out of our control that are putting house prices up so much, whatever. Because I look at, like, I always used to say, oh, I want to buy a house, like that's the one thing I want to do. And like my flatmate, and I would say I'm working class, like I think I realised that I was maybe upper working class because we didn't have bailiffs banging on the door and stuff like that. Like obviously some people did. But my old flatmate, she was middle class and she was like, she had no desire to buy a house. She was like, yeah, I think I'll rent for life. She was like, I just don't ever see myself buying a house. I don't want to. But I think people are jealous. People do, because there are some influencers who take the piss a bit. I think I don't know, maybe they show off a bit more, but then you think, oh, if it's your money, you've got every right to do what you want to do.
It's a hard line to tread, isn't it? And like you never really know like who's going to be offended or taken aback by what or where people are coming from, because some people can be coming from a really hard and difficult place that, you know, they just feel like buying a house is completely 100% unachievable. Maybe no one else in their family has. So when they see someone go from, you know, this to this and it's afforded them the opportunity, like you're right, like it can be tricky for them to watch. But
because if you got to think, like I was like, I know what it is like to have a normal 9 to 5, like even longer hour job. Like a lot of kind of people on social media, they may be like 19, 20. This is all they've done. And I think some people have a real issue, and I completely understand that, and it's completely like valid that they go out to work 12 hours a day and then they're seeing fucking Joe Blogs, who's 19, who has been on social media, and you only see the best bits. You only see them, oh, brand deal, I'm going to an event, brand deal, oh, I'm going on a free holiday, brand deal. Like I got a bit of stick for going on, like I've been on 3 gifted trips this year, which sounds mental to say. But I think there was an article written about it, and it was like, we don't want to see you going on holiday. But I've still got that perception from me not doing this job, me not being a content creator. Do you know what I mean? I've still got the perception from when I worked in TV. And if someone went, do you want to go on holiday for free? I go, yeah. Is the sky blue? Fucking yeah, of course I do. Like, I will. So it's weird and as well, because I don't see myself as in it, but I am in it. And it's hard when people have those opinions and you are in the firing line and you're like, oh, fucking hell, I don't like that, because I don't like confrontation as it is. I'm like, don't shout at me. But you have to kind of, you know, so hold your hands up and say, yeah, okay, I get why you may be annoyed at that.
But ultimately, I don't really feel like you have done anything wrong though by saying, because I think if anyone else would be in your shoes, they probably would say yes to a free holiday as well. So we went a bit serious then. But I wanted to chat about your love of Jane McDonald, because I thought like there's 50% of your videos mention Jane McDonald. Why do you love her? Let's give her some airtime.
You know what? I once read a tweet and it was like, every gay person is given one woman to idolise for the rest of their life. And mine is Jane McDonald and Kylie Minogue. And I don't know why that I like them so much. Like I do, like the campus tits. They're amazing.
What do you think of Kylie's new song?
Padam Padam.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Padam. Oh, what a tune. See that video of the woman with a pigeon in a pub? She's going, pigeon.
I've not seen it.
I know you want to take me. Oh, I love it.
That's so funny.
She's just great. And people are saying she's having a comeback, and I'm like, she never went away.
Oh, really? I was literally about to say she's making a bit of a comeback, so there was me saying that.
No,
sorry.
I know. Well, my friend works at ITV, and apparently Jane does, I think, like Christmas carols with Jane McDonald's or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they want to get me down to meet her. But I don't want to now, because I think it's a bit weird. Because, like...
Doesn't she do, like, cruising with Jane McDonald as well? Maybe you could go on a cruise with her as well.
I'd love to go.
That would be epic.
I'd love to. What I'd pay to go on a cruise to Jane McDonald. I've seen her live in concert.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and
she does concerts?
Yeah. Yeah, she does concerts.
I didn't know she did.
Yeah, she went on tour last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. And I thought, I got a litre bottle of water and filled it with wine. And I was off my tits. And it was full of OAPs. There was literally like an 80-year-old couple sat either side of me and my flatmate. And I went, fancy you, Jane. And she went, thank you. And I was like, oh, literally. And we waited by the stage door for her. She didn't come out.
Oh, gosh. Well, maybe you will get to meet her now.
I know, but I think it's like I've taken it a step too far.
Have you met anyone that's been like a bit of an idol that you've kind of got a bit fangirly over?
It's always the people who I don't expect. Oh no, I tell a lie. I did a job and it was the only reason I took this job. So it was when I'd been working in TV for a while and I was getting out of COVID because everyone hated you in COVID. And I was going into production. And then I got offered a job. They were like, do you want to be COVID secretary or whatever? And I was like, oh, I don't really want to do it. And they went, like, Cate Blanchett's in it. And I went, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. And she was literally, I think it was like a 3-month job. It was horrible. But she was in the last week, like the last 2 days in Blackpool.
Oh my gosh, you really had to hold out to all that.
I was livid because I would have had to like knock on her trailer door and give her a COVID test. She'd fucking had COVID within the past like 2 months. So, you know, when you were exempt from having it again. So and then I had like nothing to do. It was like the last day. And we were filming, like, I think they were filming in this hairdressers and this house was like the unit base. So like she'd walk in between. So we had this coffee van and I literally just stood there all day from when she'd like walk to and from the house and she'd be like rehearsing her lines. And I'd be like, oh gosh, this is so amazing. And I waited there and I was walking down and I was walking like this and I was like, hi, you all right? And she went, and I was like, ha, ha. I couldn't believe it. It was unreal.
Do you think she'll remember you?
I think she will, yeah. When I'm sat in Graham Norton in 10 years' time.
She'll be like, I met that girl. She'll
be reunited. I'll tell this exact story.
Love it. So one of the things we love to talk about on the Talk 20s podcast is your biggest adulting failures. Have you got many of them?
Oh, yeah. I think I have.
Any that you can think of?
You know what? I think being a bit naive and a bit too polite, because I think I've got exceptional manners. Not to big myself up. No, but I love a please and a thank you.
Okay.
But I think like working in TV and I think kind of, I don't know if it's like specifically on women. I think it is as well. Like you don't really get it with men as much. I think we're taught to please and be so polite and kind of almost have that need to please. Not in a way for people to like me because I'm not particularly bothered about that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think, you know, because obviously I was freelance and, you know, you want to get your next job and you want to get this and you want to get that. So you're doing too much. But then I also think if I hadn't done too much, would I be where I am now? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I think being a little bit too, not say, I don't know.
Saying yes to things that you shouldn't or
it's like kind of, because you don't want to be that person who's like, I'm honest, I say it how it is. And it's like, hang on a minute, are you just a dickhead? Mm. Yeah. Or being a little bit too yes man, saying everything like...
Yeah, there's like a spectrum, isn't there? They're like, oh, you do your own thing, no messing. And then there's like, you say yes and whatever you need and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, kind of
being like a little puppy, like just wanting, and I don't know, I look back and I think, oh, like stop. Because I'm not confrontation, I hate confrontation, but I'm learning to say no to things. Mm-hmm. Like even like with like I always say this like with Hannah who's been on the podcast, like she says something and I'll be like, oh, Hannah's like my manager for contacts, and I'll be like, yes Hannah, yeah, okay, yeah, because I'll be thinking, oh god, I'm gonna get dropped, like if I don't say and I'm like you're not gonna get dropped, like pack it in. And then so I've learned to like say no to like some things, but like what
are the things that you say no to? Can you answer them?
As in like job wise?
Yeah.
Well, normally it's sometimes it's just like an event or something. She's like, but I think sometimes if Hannah asks me, I think that I have to do it. And then I'm like, no, you don't have to do it. Like, just calm down.
Yeah.
But I think again, it's that need to say and like, please.
Do you think it's also that like you've come from the background that you come from, that you feel like you have to be grateful for like anything? Because I think like, I come from the mindset of like, I started a business. I do not have business like training or anything like that, and like to have got it to where it is, like I'm so grateful. So I also say yes to everything because I'm like, this might be our last job or our last like, you know,
contact us. Do you know what I mean? I'm just so grateful for everything that I'm like, I can't say no to any of it because that would be ungrateful.
Oh, yeah.
And I have not come from a place of like privilege where my parents have helped me run this business or given me money to start this business. None of that has happened. So I'm just like, oh yes, like no problem sort of thing.
Oh, definitely. Like Rob Beckett talks about, do you ever listen to the Parents in Hell podcast?
I know.
Oh, well, he talks about it on there and he's like, I think it's the working class mindset of like, this will all get taken away from you tomorrow. And you feel, because I always used to like, I heard like about imposter syndrome and I think, oh, I kind of get it, but like I don't have that. And now I think I have got that so much because I just feel like someone's going to take it. And I think I'm not worthy of it or something bad. Like I was saying to my girlfriend the other day and it's weird because like we've had like a few kind of like health scares in the family and stuff like that. And I was in my head thinking from the start of the year when like I swapped managements and like things have been going like really, really well. And in my head I was thinking something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. You like, you know, this is going too well for you. This is like something bad's going to happen. And then those things did happen. And I thought, there we go. And she was like, that's not, you shouldn't think like that. Like it's not because you've been doing well or like you don't deserve this. Like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, it's having to talk yourself out of that mindset.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I don't even know what the answer is to not thinking like that because I still think like that.
And I look at like middle class people and I think, oh God, how lovely must it be to be you? Like just kind of walking around like no guilt about it. So it is.
No, definitely. A lot of people, I mean, you've talked about your highs and lows already, but like one of the things we really like to talk about on the podcast is that like every single person that comes on the podcast is not the finished product. Like everyone in their 20s is like working through something. For you, what's the thing that you're trying to get better at? Something that you're either finding difficult or struggling or just struggling with right now that you kind of think, I need to focus on that?
I'm trying to get back into like my exercise, my diet and stuff. And it was like, I think from the start of the year, I was like proper on it. I changed my mindset with like eating well and like exercising and stuff. And then like going away on holiday and like, you know, when you fall out of that routine, and it's so crazy how like if you stop doing something that you've done for like 6 months, you stop doing it for like 20 days, that's it. You're out of it. So I think just being more mindful to me and just kind of, I don't know, just more aware. Like when people say mindfulness, you go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But it is like, because obviously mindfulness is being mindful to everything that's happening in the moment, you being present. And I think it's just doing a bit of that. But pushing myself as well. I think going from a job where you have to be in the office Monday to Friday, 7 till 7, like someone else, it kind of feels like some kind of other force, like external force is pushing you. So you have to then push yourself when you go freelance, and it's, I think, just trying to do that
motivation to kind of do it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. Like I'm the same. Like I've been trying to like be healthier and like stuff like that and trying to exercise more, but it's hard when you have a I don't know, you habits just, it's not a habit. So you're trying to build a new one. And then like you say, like you go out of it for 20 days and because it's not like instinctual, like, you know, different, it's really hard to gather the motivation to like get back on it. And I guess you just got to keep going with that motivation until effectively it becomes a habit and that is your life.
Yeah,
like,
actually.
Which feels quite scary and hard to do.
It does. I feel like some people are just kind of, we all do have different bodies, but I do think that's for a reason. Like, I don't know, like I feel like I am like the most English built like woman. Like I think like 200 years ago, like I either would have been a court jester or just like a woman in a bakery. Who's just like a bit round, like a bit rounded woman in a bakery. And I think that is my ancestral background biologically.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So sometimes I think, oh, don't fight it, have another cake. And I think, no, like you want to be healthy. It's not about how your body looks. It's about how your mind feels or how your body feels like.
Yeah.
You feel
Do you
healthy.
flip between those mindsets all the time though?
Oh, God,
because that's me. I'm like, oh yeah, fine. Body positivity, love my body, accept my body, all those kind of things. And then something will just go.
You're like,
you need to go to the gym.
You fat ugly bitch, I hate you. And you're like, no.
No. Try and think back the other way. And it just doesn't, it's like that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I think I've learned to do less of that. But it's,
What's your tips? Because I need advice.
Well, you know what? It's harder because like, I think even... like I feel like I've put, because I lost like 1.5 stone and then in my head I've not weighed myself since and I'm like, you've put back on 1 stone. And then, you know, when you don't feel as comfortable in your clothes and you're just a bit like, oh. Yeah. So it's kind of getting back to that original place. But you've just got to...
I'm getting married next year and I feel the pressure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you already told me. Sorry, I ignored you.
Cyprus, and you've lived in Cyprus. Yeah. Very exciting. You have to tell me all about it.
How long have you been together for?
10 years.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, long time. Finally get married. But yeah, and I feel the pressure as like a
a bride to like change my body shape. Like,
I was actually listening to a podcast about this on the way here with Anna Richardson and Vicky Patterson, and it was about losing weight for a wedding.
Oh, I need to listen to that.
It was really good, and it was I think it was a personal trainer. Oh, I think it was a nutritionist who was like, she has people coming to her all the time, and she was like, who are more than often like healthy women.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't actually need to lose any weight, and they just want to do it for kind of an occasion or just like want to look different. Yeah. And she was like, now I'm getting married, I have to kind of implement that same attitude that I've been telling all these women for 10 years or however long a career is. And it's like, it's so interesting.
I don't know what I think is going to change if I were to lose weight, like, or like change. I don't know.
I know, because I was like,
what's going to happen?
You still have your problems.
Maybe I like the pictures more. I don't know what I'm trying to convince myself will be better.
It's weird though, because I used to think like, especially when I was younger, like 16, and I was like, oh God, I feel massive, whatever. And I'd have my thin friends and they'd go, oh, I feel really fat today. And I'd think like, how do you have a problem in life when you're thin? And I think, what a fucking backwards way of thinking. Like, to think you're thin, you have nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, and they were like, oh, I feel bloated today, I feel big today. And you're like, well, obviously that they do. Yeah. But I just used to think I couldn't even comprehend that they would have a bad day, like when it comes to the body. So like, you are literally perfect.
Yeah, I used to be on a cheerleading team when I was back in university, and
Wildcats.
Yeah, literally. And I know that I was it sounds like a really weird thing to say, but we all got measured for kits. And when I say measured for kits, they're all like tailored to your body. So I know that I was the biggest one on the cheerleading team. And obviously they're all like, some of them are all tiny, they get thrown up in the air. Yeah. I was something called a base, which is basically you got big chunky thighs, you throw people up in the air, and like there's all different types in the team. But I know that like my waist measurement was one of the biggest out of the cheerleading team. And that was one of the smallest I've ever been in university. And every time I think about that, I was like, it does really like gets you. Yeah. Like, and I'm 28 now. That was when I was 21. I still think about it.
Isn't that mad? So, yeah, you can be having like an amazing day.
I wasn't even 21, I was 19. But yeah.
And then sometimes your brain will just go, you're the biggest person in the room.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and you're like, stop it.
Yeah,
and it's weird. It's like, don't like it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been amazing having you on the podcast, Charlie. I've loved chatting to you today. Yeah, we're nearly done. What time is it?
I don't know what time. Get train home.
But we always end the podcast with the same question that we ask every single guest that comes on the podcast. And it's if you could look back at 20-year-old Charlie and give her just one piece of advice to see her through her 20s, what would you want to say to her?
Keep working hard. I was thinking about this. I was thinking like, oh, like chill out, it'll all be fine. But if you think, chill out, you're like, oh no, you wouldn't have worked as hard and you wouldn't be where you are.
Yeah.
Just be like,
has it felt like hard work to get where you are, like with your TikTok and everything?
I don't know. I don't know, because like when I'd be at the bakery at 6, like 5 in the morning at Asda, and I'd think, you're paying your dues. I used to think you're paying your dues, you're doing your hard work and stuff, and then I think everything I did in telly, and I think, have I worked, even though I was in different industries, I think, have I worked hard to be here? And I'm like, you have. But again, it's that imposter syndrome of, have I worked hard to be here? And I don't know. But in my head, I'm thinking, yeah. And I don't know.
Oh, I feel like
hard thing to say.
No, but the thing is, like, I think one of the things is that there's a difference that comes with like when you start to enjoy your job, whether it's seen as a real job or not a real job, because I also get those accusations as well.
Yeah, like, it's when you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's when you enjoy it. It's like, it's hard to say that you've worked hard because you've actually enjoyed the working hard. Whereas I think we associate working hard with like, I must have hated it. Like, I must have gone through literal physical or mental pain, like you were saying, like at Asda or, in TV, in order to actually get to the point where I've worked really hard. Now all of a sudden I've achieved something. But it's actually not a bad thing to just have worked hard, enjoyed the whole process. It doesn't have to be difficult to be, to have worked hard, I guess.
It's that whole social media thing again, isn't it? Like, I look at people like Grace Beverley, and she's got like about 5 different businesses. I'm like, you don't have a business. You don't need to be as scheduled and as busy as that woman. Yeah. But in your head, you're thinking, why don't I have a Tala? Yeah. Why don't I run fitness brands?
I love Tala, to be fair. Literally my whole wardrobe is Tala.
I need to get some bits from there.
Amazing.
Oh, she's so good. But like that, like again, I was saying about like my body build up, her mental build up, she is bred for business. Yeah. Like that girl is literally like a steam train.
Yeah.
Like
she's amazing.
She's not even steam train, she's like bullet train. She's like boom. Like And I just think I could never.
I do wonder how she has the time in the day to do everything that she does. I know obviously she's got like a team and everything, but like just feels like she must be juggling so many different things.
I know. I wrote half an email yesterday and I had to have like a sit down. I was like, oh God.
Didn't even send it.
I know, yeah, I didn't. It was something to do with my account and I've got to get a number up and I was like, I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah. I can't be arsed.
The accountancy thing for me as well is also like the hardest thing with business.
Oh,
and stuff,
no one talks about that.
No
one talks about it. I'm like, I don't get it.
No.
And I've literally said to my accountant, can you talk to me like I'm thick?
Yeah, I've said the same.
And he's gone, okay. And it like doesn't. Dividends, what are they? What are dividends? You tell me. What a fucking clue. Oh.
Yeah, it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I do have to say that I think for someone who's 23, like you have achieved so much and like you are definitely an inspiration to many people out there as well that kind of follow you on TikTok and follow your journey. And I find you bloody hilarious. If I ever need to like have a giggle or stuff, I'll just head to your TikTok and watch them. I'll send most of them to my fiance and be like, like
he's like, who's this? Who's this? Yeah. Who's this?
So thanks so much for coming into the studio. It's been an amazing episode.
Thank you.